Hello, and welcome to the 5-day abundance activator, where we are going to remove the top 5 blocks to expanding your business here by the end of the year and in 2023. If you don't know me, my name is Carrie Faith Knudsen, and I am a vision and leadership coach. And I love working with entrepreneurs, specifically female entrepreneurs, coaches, healers, service-based entrepreneurs, so that you can confidently earn more money doing what you love offline. So a little bit about where I started. Back in 2018, I decided to leave my career in hospitality, and specifically the food and wine industry. I knew I was going to become an entrepreneur. I remember the last day of my job, and people were asking me, what are you going to do now? Where are you going to go? Who are you going to work for? And I did have a job, a contract job lined up, but I just knew in my heart, that I was going to work for myself. I knew that I was going to make my own decisions. And I knew with certainty that I was an entrepreneur. So the question is, are entrepreneurs born or are they created? My question for you, do you feel, if you are an entrepreneur, that you were born to be an entrepreneur? Or do you feel like it's been a creation and a recreation of who you were perhaps in the past or your past career, and recreating yourself? So that's my question for you. I believe that everyone is born to be an entrepreneur. I believe everyone is born with everything that you need to create expansion, to create abundance. Because to me, abundance is not on the outside. How often do you look on the outside for evidence of abundance, success, happiness, fulfillment? How often are you looking for your ideal client? How often are you looking for a customer? In this series, if I'm going to share with you the top 5 most common blocks that I see entrepreneurs make when and if you are struggling to find clients or create the next client. Because just like entrepreneurs create offers, they create freedom, you create from nothing. That's a vision. And everything goes back to vision. And the things that get in the way of the vision are the blocks to also receiving clients, creating clients, and having clients come to you instead of you go out to the client. You do not need to find your next client. You get to connect and attract your next clients. So the top block that I see, and I saw in myself, was people coming to me and asking me questions. This is how I started off my coaching business back in 2018. People would come to me with questions saying, I need help with this. Can you help me? And for instance, I was actually coaching an accountability coach for for people that were writing their books. And I had a client that was writing her book, and I was helping her take these steps to creating that book. And she realized that the problems that were coming up around writing her book were actually deeply rooted in grief. So she had just lost her husband. I believe it was within the past 12 to 18 months. And so writing the book and committing to writing X amount of words every day was challenging for her, because she was in an environment where there were papers, there was furniture, there were material items that kept reminding her of her late husband. And so she realized what was underneath the block of writing her book was actually the grief and the sadness and the pain of the upcoming holidays, and her feeling guilty and shame and regret around losing her husband. And so she asked me, she said, I really could use some additional coaching besides just accountability for writing this book. So can you coach me? Can I book a session with you? And I said, yes, of course. It was my dream to have extra sessions and extra clients and extra income. But what I didn't realize, me saying yes to her and then seeing a pattern of other people coming to me with perhaps problems or struggles, and what they really, now that I know, what they really were seeking was consult. What they really were seeking was a sounding board. What they really were seeking was perhaps therapy or consulting. But I kept saying yes, because these clients were coming to me. And this is the number one block that I see new coaches and entrepreneurs and consultants make, is saying yes. And what I call the yes syndrome or people pleasing. So if you can relate to people pleasing, just raise your hand. It comes in all different arrays. So perhaps you don't resonate or see that you might be people pleasing, but some examples where this might be coming up, and for myself, where it still comes up, is now I know the difference between coaching, consulting, healing, counseling, and therapy. Thank God from the experience that I've had with doing all the above, that I now know the difference between coaching, consulting, therapy, healing, and therapy. Did I say therapy? There's a distinct difference. And so now I know if people come to me, I get to say no. I get to say no if they're not going to fit into the archetype of needing coaching and or needing business consulting. But when I wasn't clear about exactly the number one problem that I solve, which is connection with your ideal client, which is creating a plan with accountability, if you're not clear about the number one person, first off, that you're solving the problem for, and the number one problem that you're solving, then, and if you're not clear about the vision of where you're going with that over the next 1 month, 8 months, 12 months, 5 years, then you might be saying yes to those clients that are coming to you. And those clients might not be aligned with the number one person or the number one problem that you solve. So I want to give you a simple strategy on how you can see underlying that you may be guilty of the yes syndrome, saying yes when you really mean no, or saying yes when it isn't 100% aligned with your vision and where you want to go, and saying yes to someone else instead of saying yes to yourself. So I was going to go back to where this is still showing up in my life, just to be 100% transparent. So where this is still showing up in my life, I've overcome saying yes to all the clients that are asking for different things. I've overcome saying yes to all the things that people come to me to volunteer, to help them out, to do X, Y, and Z. I might have overcome that, but there's still one area that I am still people pleasing, which could be a potential block in expanding my business. Because what is showing up in one area of your life most likely will be showing up in other areas of your life. So I have a 13-year-old son. His name's Carter, and he is just the light of my life. I will do anything and everything for my son, at the expense probably of putting myself first. So he's 13 years old. And if you've ever had a teenager, if you have a teenager, or if you have ever even been a teenager, you can relate that teenagers can do everything, right? Or at least they think. They know everything, or at least they think. And they're striving for independence, to do things on their own when it's convenient for them, nonetheless. And I will come into the kitchen when I see my son, and I will offer him X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I will do anything for my son. I will say, do you want pancakes? Do you want eggs? Do you want French toast? Do you want an omelet? Do you want bacon? Do you want cereal? Do you want milk? I will do anything for him. And this is still an area where people pleasing. And I have just identified this actually most recently, because even though you may have overcome this idea of the yes syndrome, or even if you've overcome certain areas that are blocks in your life, it still might be showing up in tricky ways. So I want to give you a tactical lesson right here today. I want you to take a piece of paper, and I want you to write down 20 people that you're in relationship with. 20 people. Okay, it might be brother, sister, it might be child, it might be husband, it might be boyfriend, girlfriend, it might be friend down the street, it might be neighbor, it might be 20 clients that you have. Right, take a list and write down 20 people. Now, next to their name, write down yes or no if you are putting their needs in front of your own, if you have at any time in your life said yes to them when you met no, or something felt like no, if you're saying yes to their needs before your own needs at times. This is the top block that I see in expanding your business, because as long as you might be saying yes when you mean no, or yes to others instead of yourself, it's a block. It's going to get in the way, because what is showing up in one area of your life or in one relationship is going to show up in other areas of your relationships and other areas of your life. So let me know if this was helpful. Let me know how many yeses you had, how many no's you had on the list. And tomorrow, come back where we are going to identify a second block to expanding your business. And we are going to remove the blocks to expand your business. I am opening up spots for the Abundance Business Activator, which is starting in January. And if you have any interest in expanding your business in 2023, just reach out to me, say yes in the comments below, and we can jump on a quick vision call at any time. I'm available for free vision calls. And if you would like to just get clarity around business strategy and your brand strategy, you may schedule a business and brand strategy session with me as well. So I look forward to seeing how many yeses you've had and how many no's, because the intention of this exercise to remove the blocks to expand your business is that if you have 20 relationships, you get to say no, because saying no to others is yes to you expanding your business. Let me know if this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you on day 2 of Abundance Activator.